Good evening, everybody. This is Lincoln Kenobi here, and today we have another article. Hugo Weaving shares why he will not return to Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth. All right, well, let's not waste any time. Let's get a crack at this. Actor Hugo Weaving, who played Elrond in Peter Jackson's adaptation of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, recently announced he has no intention to return to Middle Earth and explained why. Speaking to Games Radar, Weaving announced, "Personally, I've had enough of that. It was a great being in New Zealand on and off over a 10-year period. I did then go back and work with the same team, director Peter Jackson and writer Fran Walsh, on a project called Mortal Engines, which was going to be their next big franchise, but it died on its arse." You know, I did watch that movie and it was good. It did feel good. It did look like it was a good movie, but it didn't make a lot of money, I heard. So it did suck. I did feel bad for them. So I've had enough of Middle Earth. I don't imagine anyone would ask me to do it again, he added. Weaving then noted that even if he did return to play Elrond in the recently announced Hunt for Gollum movies, it would not work given the immortality of his actor and the fact that he's gotten older, which is true. He has gotten older. He explained, "Elrond is meant to be an immortal, and I'm aging. Elrond is one of the few characters, I think there's only three or four of them, who spans through the Silmarillion, Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit. But even when we went back to reshoot certain parts of The Lord of the Rings, I was aware I was older than I was before. And shooting stuff on The Hobbit was starting to get slightly silly. I love being a part of that franchise, but I have absolutely no plans or desires to be a part of it anymore," he reiterated. While it seems clear Weaving will not be reprising the role of Elrond in the Hunt for Gollum movies, it's likely that Ian McKellen will return the role of Gandalf. During an appearance on this morning, McKellen shared, "Well, all I know is that they called me up and said that these films were going to happen, mainly be about Gollum, and Andy Serkis, who played Gollum, is going to direct, and there would be a script arriving sometime in the new year. That's next year, and then I'll judge whether I want to go back." So we're gonna see, bro, if Ian McKellen will come back. I doubt he would, bro. I mean, I to be honest, he is. I love Ian McKellen as Gandalf, man, but he is just getting too old, man, and I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it will work out, bro. So, but we'll see. He continued, "But I would love to go back to New Zealand, number one, and I also don't like the idea of anybody who else playing Gandalf." When asked if there was more than one film McKellen would shared, "I'm told it's 2 films. I probably shouldn't be saying, but I haven't read the script, and I don't know when it is, and I don't even know where it will be filmed because these days. I could probably film it all in London, but I'd rather not. I'd rather go back to New Zealand." On the top of McKellen, Andy Serkis will reprise his role as Gollum. Furthermore, he will also be directing the film. Serkis told Deadline about his plans for the films. "Gollum has always stuck with me throughout all of these years. I've read audiobooks of the trilogy and the Silmarillion and the Hobbit. So Tolkien's world was never left me in all of that time since we did the first films. And the character particularly has remained such an enormous part of my life. So it's absolutely thrilling to be able to go back and do a deep dive into his world again, and specifically into Gollum's psychology. I know we're all interested in investigating on a deeper level who the character is. And on top of that, to be able to direct and hopefully create a film which has its place within the canon, but also something that's fresh and new and a different approach," he added. As for whether other characters from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy or The Hobbit might show up, he said, "That's a difficult question to answer right at this moment in the time, because we're really in the nascent stages of that. What it is exactly where we're doing and where the story's going to take us. So I don't want to commit anything right now. I mean, because it's so raw and wiggling. And we're just literally having the very early state script discussion and ideas of exactly where and how we're going to drop anchor with the character and his journey and how he is or comes into contact with other characters and the characters that we know and don't know. So still, I would hate to say anything that's going to commit us at this point because it's literally all up for grabs, he concluded. As for one might expect in the hunt for Gollum, Gandalf informs Frodo in the Fellowship of the Ring, light of sun and moon, he still feared and hated. He always will, I think, but he was cunning. He found he could hide from daylight and moonshine, and make his way swiftly and softly by dead of night with his pale cold eyes, and catch small, frightened, or unaware worry things. He grew stronger and bolder with new food and new air. He found his way into Mirkwood as one would expect. Gandalf then informs Frodo that he did indeed see Gollum in Mirkwood. I saw him there. But before that, he had wandered far. Following Bilbo's trail, it was difficult to learn anything from him. For certain, for his walk was constantly interrupted by curses and threats. After recalling the matter of Gollum's curses and threats, he told Frodo, but from hints dropped among the snarls, I gathered that his padding feet had taken him at the last of Osgiliath, and even to the streets of Dale, listening secretly and peering. Well, the news of the great events went far and wide in Winterland, and many had heard Bilbo's name and knew where he came from. He had made no secret to our return journey to his home in the west. Gollum's sharp ears would soon learn that what he wanted. When asked why Gollum did not make it to the Shire, Gandalf said, I think Gollum tried to. He set out and came back westward, as far as the Great River, but then he turned aside. He was not daunted by the distance, I am sure. Something else drew him away. So my friends think those that haunted him for me. As for those friends, our Gandalf regaled Frodo. The wood elves tracked him first, as easy task for them, for his trail was still fresh then. Through Mirkwood and back again it led them, so they never caught him. The wood was full of the rumor of him, dreadful tales even among beasts and birds. The woodmen said that there was some new terror abroad, a ghost that drank blood. It climbed trees to find nests. It crept into holes to find the young. It slipped through windows to find cradles. Next, Gandalf explains to Frodo how he let the trail go cold. But at the western edge of Mirkwood, the trail turned away. It wandered southwards and passed out of the wood elves' ken, and was lost. And then I made a great mistake. Yes, Frodo, and not the first, though. I fear it may prove the worst. I let the matter be. I let him go, for I had much else to think of that time, and I still trusted the lore of Saruman. However, with the help of Aragorn, he was able to pick it back up again, and my search would have been in vain, but for the help that I had from a friend, Aragorn, the greatest traveler and huntsman of this age of the world. Together we sought for Gollum down the whole length of Wilderland, without hope and without success. But at last, when I had given up the chase and turned to other paths, Gollum was found. My friend returned out of great perils, bringing the miserable creature with him. What he had been doing he would not say. He only wept and called us cruel, with many a Gollum in his throat. When we pressed him, he whined and cringed. And rubbed his long hands, licking his fingers as if they pained him. Yes, if he remembered some old torture. But I am afraid there is no possible doubt. He had made his slow, sneaking way, step by step, mile by mile, south down at last to the land of Mordor. Finally, Gandalf informed Frodo that Aragorn captured him, and after he had left Mordor, when he was found, he had already been there long, and was on his way back on some errand of mischief. But that does not matter much how now. His worst mischief was done. He also informs Frodo that Sauron learns that from Gollum that the One Ring is likely in the Shire. Through him, the enemy has learned that the One has been found again. He knows where Isildur fell. He knows where Gollum found his ring. He knows that it is a great ring, for it gave long life. He knows that it is not one of the three, for they have never been lost, and they endure no evil. He knows that it is not one of the seven or the nine, for they are accounted for. He knows that it is the one, and he has at last heard. I think of hobbits and the Shire. Well, it was a good, nice, kind of like story rise right here, but on YouTube there was a fan made film of the hunt for Gollum, and it was pretty good. I was impressed with the people that did it and everything. And then Warner Brothers, I believe, was trying to tell the site of YouTube to take it down because they had the official right. But the problem was that they never thought of this movie. They never thought of this movie because this movie, The Hunt for Gollum, was done years ago. It was done years ago before Andy Serkis decided to tie that he wanted to make a new Lord of the Rings series. So, of course, it did not get taken down. It still stayed on YouTube. You could try to find it if you want. So, I hope you guys, if you do, I hope you guys enjoy it. But as for Hugo Weaving, man, he was great at playing Elrond, man. But as he said, bro, he's getting too old. So, I'm glad he did retire for that he didn't want to do it. So, but let me know what you guys think, man. So, if you like the video, hit the like button, share this video, post a comment below, let me know what your thoughts about this article. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button for me. Alright, you guys have a good night. Bye for now.